Alright guys, I want to talk to you real quick while I'm driving here on my cam. Steering wheel cam. I was going to say dash cam, but I'm not on the dash. I'm on the console here. It is mounted on a console. But, yeah, so I want to do a little bit of a clarification. And, you know, sometimes you can get tunnel vision. Happens to the best of us. Happens to me a lot, though, huh? I don't know. Am I getting older? I'm just not as, I don't know, just not as good at my research as I used to be, I guess. Or maybe I just don't like to read. But we're talking about California ID and IDing to the cops. Now, I've had to ID on traffic stops, but pretty much in the state of California, if you're driving a car and you get pulled over, you're going to have to ID. Pretty much. I mean, there's very, very few occasions when you're going to be able to talk yourself out of giving the ID when you're behind a steering wheel. Because the cops will go, well, you were pulled over for this violation. You're pretty much done. You're going to have to do it. Because they're going to probably end up just giving you a citation for something because they pulled you over, and then you're, you know, going to have to ID. But when you're not driving and you're out there cop watching or doing First Amendment auditing, I've been saying that if they suspect you of a crime, you have to ID. And I think that I've been kind of reading it wrong, because I'm reading this on the internet now. I looked up California Stop and ID. Let me back in here before I hit this pole. And I think I've been kind of doing it wrong. You know what I mean? A little close there, right? But that's why we need each other in the community. Somebody brought it up to me and said, really, I don't think California's a stop and ID state. I said, no, but if you're suspected of a crime. So I went on the internet to read it. Now, let me clarify that too. Anytime somebody says, well, I read it on the internet, people go, you read it on the internet, it's true. But you got to understand something. With the internet we have now, there are certified bar attorneys and former police officers. Well, let's say police officers. A lot of cops don't know the law. And I'm not being facetious. There's cops out there that don't know the fucking laws. But there are certified bar attorneys and good lawyers that go online and do blogs or articles about certain things, and they know their stuff. So there's nothing wrong with, I read it on the internet. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some really good information found on there. You have to be careful with it, and you have to kind of weigh it and see, you know, what are the qualifications of this person saying this? What is their, you know, the criteria, the background? You know, if it's Joe Blow from the block, I don't know. But if it's, you know, Gary Smith, LLC, law offices of, you know, there might be some credibility there. So, but I read at 4 or 5 different lawyer blogs and articles on California Stop and ID. I was going to put references down below in the description box. I don't have time. I got a meeting. We got to go to a staff meeting. So that's why this right here. But apparently I read it, and do you have to, so a cop stops you and he suspects you of having committed a crime or committing a crime. You have to give ID? No. So I wanted to clarify that. And maybe, you know, I was looking at it. In California, this is California, you don't have to actually, you're not mandated to provide ID until they say you are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent, and you're under arrest, and you're going to be booked or cite released with a citation. Then you have to ID. Up until that point, you have to say, okay, well, you suspect me of committing this crime, or you suspect that I am committing a crime, or suspect that I've committed a crime. You know, I'm not giving you ID. If you suspect, prove it. Where's the evidence? What evidence do you have that you have the right to arrest me? And then once they say, well, I'm going to place you under arrest for this give up ID, you may be able, and if you're innocent, say, I didn't fucking do it. Here's my ID, man. and get released. Some people say activists should be arrested. Just go ahead and let them arrest you and file a lawsuit. And you have to pick your battles. While some people that may be okay with you, I'm married and I got stepkids. And a job. I mean, if they hold me in jail for 3 days, I don't know, I might be in trouble. So you have to pick your battles. It varies from person to person. What are you? Are you able to get arrested as an activist and then prove your point? Or do you have to say, you know what? Here's my ID. Run it. I'm innocent. Dick face. Now let me go, So I wanted to clarify that. If you're detained for questioning under suspicion of a crime, you don't have to ID in California. You are not required to ID until they say you're under arrest. And then they say, we need to ID you. You're now being placed under arrest for suspicion of this. You're going to have to ID at that point. I always thought, I thought California's not a stop and ID state, meaning they just can't stop you and ID you, and they can't. But I thought, well, if they suspect you of a crime, and I read on that, and in California I was mistaken. You actually have to you're under arrest now for this crime, then you have to ID. Hope that helps. Wanted to clarify that. I got to go. News Now Yucaipa. Thanks, guys.